flag on here.
Yeah, I got stuck up on there on the way in.
Have you read Romans? Paul said to the Romans, chapter 1.
No, I don't know the verse by heart.
You need to read it. What Paul says about homosexuality.
Oh, this I don't agree with, even remotely. I'm here to talk to, but one of them stuck it on there, and I wasn't going to tell them no at the moment. And it's an opportunity to talk to them about it. I spent about 10 minutes talking with the lady there after she put it on.
Okay.
And I'm not an affirm person. I believe in loving someone. You're not going to let them do something that's sinful. You'll tell them not to do it, and that's my goal.
I would just get off that.
Then I will do that, and I appreciate it because, like I said,
that looks bad.
And I'm not saying I thought it would be more of something that would invite people to be less disarmed by me initially approaching. And I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'll take it off. I was hoping when they see it, they'll be like, hey, I can talk to this guy at least. But that's my biggest thing is I'm not here to affirm any sinful activities. Like I grew up in all of this nonsense, and I'm not here to tell people that they're right and condone that activity. I'm kind of hoping it goes somewhat in the opposite direction because I'm only a year into being a Christian. So a lot of the things these people will tell me that are the excuses to continue the life are the ones that I used, and I want to be able to hopefully talk them. Because a lot of the things, in my opinion, I found, I don't want to say answers for everybody, but for some people it may resonate with them hearing what stopped me from going down that same lifestyle. So I'm very interested. I'm not here to promote pride either. I'm here to promote Jesus Christ. And I do appreciate that. I'm going to take it off here in a moment. Like I say that, just so you're clear, that was my intent. It's just she wanted to put it on. I said yes, and that, like I say, she talked to me for 10 or 15 minutes afterwards. I don't think she would have. If I would have said no, thank you, and that was the reason that I did it.
All right, I understand your reasoning there.
Okay, and I say I'll take it off, but I'm not here to accept anything that's simple. I don't know another way to say it without.
I know.
So, then that's why I say I do appreciate that perspective. I'm a very new Christian. One of the things I say is I'm not right. I've lived 42 years being wrong, so if someone comes in and they always say in the Bible, you accept correction. You know what I'm saying? So,
I'm the president of that club being wrong. You want to join?
I don't know about that. I gave you a run for your money then. I say, but I appreciate that. I tell my daughters, boldness like this is important. Be able to, the willingness, you don't know how I could have reacted. I could angrily make a scene, hopefully, I tell one of my daughters corrected me the other day, and I always pull them aside individually and say that's the most great thing you can do, risk correcting somebody. Especially when you love them, because they can reject you, angry, never talk to you again. And one thing, the lesson I've learned finally after 42 years is the moment I get angry or upset, something that is negative, I stop and say, what did that person probably mean to do or mean to say? Because there's a good chance I'm misconstruing what they said, or even if they did say something that offended me, maybe they said it the wrong way or something. They were angry in the moment at someone else, and that anger came out in what they said to me. And so I always assume I'm at fault at first. And hey, if I get proved wrong, great. But generally speaking, it's me. So I love that and I hope my response is well, because one of the things I'm trying to do is listen, accept correction. That is something old me would not have done. That's one of the transformative things about it. I laugh at. I wanted to put God transformed me. It's one of the signs I wanted to do today, because if you may know because you seem like a believer and you've been in the game, but most of them, they wouldn't understand the hateful, resentful, spiteful, sinner, awful person I was. And I say I appreciate this because it just lets me feel different from that old person. So I appreciate that.
Glad I could help.
What is your name?
Gary.
Gary, it's my father's name. Do you mind if I shake your hand for a moment at least? Don't fall. Thank you so much.
You are who?
Steve, I'm sorry.
Steve.
Yeah. So I appreciate it. Like I say, I'm gonna find a moment and pull this off. And that's one of the things I'm always trying to navigate is I was the person who, I don't know another way to say it, didn't like being preached to and didn't like people leading with the gospel. So even now, a lot of ways when I try to talk to non-believers specific is what I found is a lot of my opinions and choices were Christian opinions when I just had worldly reasons for them, which are not valid compared to people left behind you. I'm sorry. And but my point is, I'll just for abortion, I can give people several different reasons to avoid abortion that have nothing to do with biblical scripture. And especially having 3 daughters is and ironically, one of the wake-up calls for me is my sister, a woman, having a talk with me about how being pro-choice was incorrect. So, it's not like my opinions were all ego-driven or wanting to be right. It just made sense to me even before I read the Bible that a baby is a life. I've never heard someone come home and say, honey, husband, I'm pregnant. And he's like, oh, well, let me know if you decide to keep that clump of cells or not. And she was like, thanks, honey, that's so nice of you. It's like a joyous occasion because everyone really knows what that is. There's the legal argument where I always say, if my wife walked around the corner, I'm divorced now sadly, so I'm saying my hypothetical wife, she has twins in her belly, and I just said, I don't want those today, and I hit my wife in my belly. Most people would say I just murdered 2 lives. And most people in the moment when they come to that realization, some of them will double down and say, well, now I don't think it's a life because I would have to admit that I was wrong. And no, you just punched your wife in the stomach. People have done that with me, and as long as you're comfortable, I want you to hear yourself say that is my biggest thing. Because I'm not, it's amazing how people resort to keeping whatever earthly sin they want to grab onto. They will make every excuse. Self-worship is what I was into. I worship everything except God. Anything and everything, I say, I am the happiest person alive now. This last year has been the best time of my life, and God is great.
I'm still struggling with wanting to want worldly things,
Yes.
buying things, having
Yes.
things. I'm trying to get rid of that, but that's a big struggle.
Yes, and part of it is it's part of the world we live in. It's not like God says don't buy things and don't have things. I was having a talk with a lady who I marvel at the fact that I can learn from older Christians, but sometimes they can take things away from me because she was struggling because she's financially kind of not the most well off. And we work at a food pantry together. And long story short, I was trying to explain to her, again, in my own words and oversimplifying, like, the Bible doesn't say you have to give 10% of your finances to the church or you're failing. That goes back to before money was a thing. What the whole tithe system principle is, you should be willing to give 10% of what God gives you right back to Him. Because it's His anyway. Whether it's money, wheat, goats, time, effort, whether you can fix their roof when they need it, that's what God is saying to do, not give me 10% of the gold. And that's what a lot of people sadly tend to hear. And that's what I used to get mad at when I was a non-believer, that in Christian. I was like, all you guys do is money. I hear you guys, the whole Creflo Dollar and the prosperity thing, like, that's to me what Christians were. Like, money, 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 I need a jet. And I mean, God needs to give me a jet is what I meant. Oops, like, again, like, so that kind of hypocrisy is, it's nice to have, it can be both ways where, like I say, Christianity feeds into itself. The new Christians can, my sister works at another food pantry, and which is beautiful in of itself, because when people talk about Christianity going down, I'm like, I'm kind of a prime example of the opposite of that. But she was saying where she had, and I don't want to slander people, but they were older Christians, and when they had a woman call and say, and I'm just going to hypothetically say the food pantry closed at like 11, and she said, my car died, I'm on the road, I'm not going to make it. And they were like, well, try to get here and let us know what happens, and we'll try to stay open a little bit for you. And they hung up, and my sister, in her head, first thought, like, we should be trying to help her get here, not help her if she gets here. And because the ladies were kind of saying, I don't want to wait more than like 5 or 10 minutes. And my sister was kind of approached them later, like, we should probably call her back and help her. And they, it's one of those things where just like sometimes you don't realize something until someone else says it. And for some reason, young people, either in naivety or in boldness, have, they're sometimes willing to say that to people, which is hard sometimes, like we say, because those people just feel like, who are you? I've been a Christian for less than a year. Who are you? And I'm Steve, that's it. So let's say it's a beautiful thing, how Christ changes things.
Yeah, it's changed a lot of stuff for me too. There's still a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why God invented the afterlife as well. Like I say, that's one of the biggest things. This is the first Christmas, first Mother's Day, first Easter that I've been a Christian. So it's just very different. Even things like Memorial Day is different, because even Marines that I've lost, in my brain, my mom that I lost, my grandparents, up until becoming, and not even becoming a Christian. It wasn't until, again, so I became a Christian, but Mother's Day, I'm like, I may see my mother again. You know, when she passed, I was like, she's done. That's it. Like, you know, that's the way the world works. Hope I got enough time in with her. But now for the first time, like, you know, my Marines that passed, a couple buddies of mine passed growing up. I'm like, there's a chance I could see them again, God willing. And that's just, it makes those holidays mean something different than going out and celebrating. Like, I don't know, it changed everything. So
I know what you mean.
God is great.
Nice chatting with you.
Well, thank you, Gary. I'll be saying a prayer for you. Thank you so much.